Winning the UEFA Champions League is the pinnacle of European club football. It's the trophy every player dreams of lifting, the culmination of a season's blood, sweat and tears. We've seen some of the absolute greats lift this magnificent trophy. But what about those who never did? Those who conquered everything else but couldn't quite climb that final mountain. Today we're diving deep into the careers of the greatest footballers who, despite their incredible careers, never won the Champions League. Stick around till the end. Some names will shock you. Eric Cantona. Just saying the name sends shivers down the spines of Premier League fans. He was pure box office, a magician with the ball at his feet. Cantona revolutionised English football. He was the talisman of Manchester United's dominance in the 90s, the catalyst for their success. 4 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups. The man was a domestic trophy magnet, but Europe, that's where the story takes a different turn. United's European struggles in his era meant he never even reached a Champions League final before his shock retirement in 1997. A true legend, but one without the biggest prize in club football. Talk about a goalkeeper who deserves all the plaudits. Gianluigi Buffon was the real deal. A World Cup winner in 2006, a whopping 10 Serie A titles. The man was a serial winner, but that Champions League trophy, it just always seemed to slip through his fingers. We're talking about 3 Champions League finals, 2003, 2015 and 2017. Each time he led Juventus with his heart on his sleeve, only to be denied. Milan, Barcelona and then Real Madrid. They all had their turn breaking Buffon's and our hearts. It's a cruel twist of fate for a man who achieved almost everything the game had to offer. Zlatan Ibrahimović, the name just oozes confidence, swagger, pure, unadulterated talent. This is a man who conquered league after league. Netherlands, Italy, Spain, France, England, you name it, he won it. Ajax, Juventus, Inter, Barcelona, Milan, PSG. Zlatan's played for some of the biggest clubs in the world. But here's the kicker, no Champions League trophy. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The one trophy that seemed to elude him. And the irony of it all? The season after he left Barcelona in 2011, they went and won the whole thing. Typical Zlatan, always the centre of attention, even in his absence. Chapter 4, Aguero, the Unfinished Symphony. Sergio Aguero, Manchester City's all-time leading goal scorer, a Premier League icon, a man who etched his name into football history with goal against QPR. He was instrumental in City's rise to dominance, but the Champions League remained the one elusive dream. He came agonizingly close in 2021, reaching the final, but it wasn't meant to be. Chelsea, of all teams, stood in their way. And then fate dealt a cruel hand. A heart condition forced Aguero into early retirement later that year. A true legend gone too soon, his Champions League dream sadly left unfulfilled. Dennis Bergkamp, the non-flying Dutchman, Dennis Bergkamp. Just the name conjures up images of pure footballing elegance. He was a magician with the ball at his feet, a player who saw passes others could only dream of. Ajax, Inter, Arsenal. He graced them all with his talent, but it's that Arsenal side that really tugs at the heartstrings. They came so close in 2006, reaching the Champions League final, only to fall at the final hurdle against a brilliant Barcelona side. Bergkamp's fear of flying, sadly, limited his availability in key European matches throughout his career. It makes you wonder what might have been if he could have graced those European nights more often. Chapter 6. Patrick Vieira, the engine room without the trophy. Patrick Vieira. A midfield general, a leader of men, a player who could dominate the centre of the park with his power and grace. Arsenal, Juventus, Inter, he was a driving force in every team he played for. But the Champions League trophy, that's the one medal missing from his collection. He was the heartbeat of that invincible Arsenal side, but they couldn't quite conquer Europe. By the time they reached the final in 2006, Vieira had already moved on. His best years were sadly spent in a team that, despite its domestic dominance, couldn't quite crack the Champions League code. Chapter 7, Cannavaro, a defender without the crown. Fabio Cannavaro, a defender's defender, a rock at the back for every team he played for, Parma, Inter, Juventus, Real Madrid. He was a mainstay in some of the best defences in the world. And let's not forget that Ballon d'Or in 2006, a World Cup winner in that same year. Cannavaro was at the peak of his powers, but despite his individual brilliance, his teams never quite managed to lift the Champions League trophy. He was a true great, but even the best defenders can't win it all alone. Chapter 8. Totti, a gladiator without a European conquest. Francesco Totti, the embodiment of loyalty, a one-club man in an era of constant transfers. For 25 years he wore the Roma shirt with pride, a true gladiator in every sense of the word. He won Serie A, he lifted the World Cup with Italy, but the Champions League remained an elusive dream. Roma, despite Totti's brilliance, could never quite assemble a squad capable of conquering Europe. His loyalty is to be admired, but you can't help but wonder if he could have added a Champions League trophy to his cabinet had he joined one of Europe's elite. Chapter 9, Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, R9, the phenomenon. Where do you even begin with this guy? A two-time Ballon d'Or winner, a World Cup hero in 2002? He was simply unplayable at his best. Barcelona, Inter, Real Madrid. He terrorized defenses in every jersey he wore. But sadly, injuries took their toll on this incredible talent. He missed Real Madrid's Champions League triumphs, his body ravaged by the demands of the game. A true shame, because when he was fit and firing, there was no one on the planet quite like him. Chapter 10. Ruud van Nistelrooy, a goal-scorer extraordinaire, a predator in the penalty box. He was a goal-scoring machine, a man who lived for finding the back of the net. 3 times he finished as the Champions League top scorer. That's how good he was. But the trophy itself, it always seemed to elude him. Manchester United, Real Madrid. He played for 2 of the biggest clubs in the world, but it just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes even the most prolific goal scorers need a bit of luck on their side. Chapter 11. And finally we come to Diego Maradona, a player who transcends time, a true icon of the game. He never played in the modern Champions League era, but that doesn't diminish his greatness one bit. He single-handedly carried Napoli to Serie A glory, but Europe's biggest prize eluded him. It was a different time, a different era, but even without a Champions League winner's medal, Maradona's legacy as one of the greatest footballers of all time remains undisputed. So, there you have it, 11 legends, their 11 incredible careers, but all united by one missing piece of silverware. It just goes to show, even in football, some stories don't have fairy tale endings. But that's what makes it all the more compelling, isn't it? The drama, the heartbreak, the near misses, it's all part of the beautiful game. Who do you think was the greatest player never to win the Champions League? Let us know in the comments.